All right, here we are, part two. What happened there was in the middle of the video, suddenly my phone gave me a warning I'm running out of space and it truncated my video. So that's why we are ending up with two parts. But in some ways, it was very symmetrical because it cut the video off just as I was about to move on to the next action figure of Al Simmons. So just a quick recap, we are talking about Al Simmons, one of the most badass assassins, CIA, special forces, veteran soldiers in comic book, who, after he got murdered, came back as a demonic entity as Spawn. But we are not really going to address Spawn today. We are going to address Al Simmons, the man, rather than Al Simmons, the Hellspawn. So in part one, we talked about this guy in front of the camera. That's Al Simmons from Spawn the movie, released in 1997. And as I mentioned, actually in 1996, the year prior to this, there was another Al Simmons released by Todd McFarlane in the Total Chaos toy line. Now, I talked about Total Chaos before. Basically, it's Total Chaos is this thing that Todd McFarlane just made up in his mind. There's no comic books, there's no video game, nothing tied to it. Basically, it's the toy line where Todd McFarlane say, hey, it would be nice to throw this really cool character in there because this doesn't belong anywhere. So it's a place where you get like medieval characters and alien characters and as you assume see super soldier characters. Basically, uh, Total Chaos was Fortnite before Fortnite even uh, became a thing. uh, so of course, Al Simmons, being one of Todd McFarlane's own creation and one of the hottest anti-hero super soldier characters in the mid 90s, uh, Todd McFarlane decided to put Al Simmons in the Total Chaos universe. And in many ways, the Total Chaos version of Al Simmons look way cooler than the movie version of Al Simmons. Let's take a look. Just look at that. On the right hand side, we have the movie version of Al Simmons, and on the left, we have this totally different looking action figure. This is the Total Chaos version of Al Simmons. And as you can see, the movie version, it's so skinny next to this one. This one's really buff. That's a lot of muscles, a lot of heavy space, like Star Wars style armor, I guess you can call it. Uh, and the Total Chaos version is also way taller. That the movie version barely come up to his shoulder. Now, not like Total Chaos have any kind of really good storyline or anything, but there is a little bit of background information with this version of Al Simmons. So basically, as I mentioned before, Total Chaos is all imaginary from Todd McFarlane, and it's the story of these two uh, alien factions called the Accord and the Domain uh, fighting for supremacy, see who can rule the galaxy. And both sides go to different planets, go to different places, even go across time and space, trying to recruit the best warriors for their side. So the Accord, which, as far as I can tell, is kind of like more like the good guys. The Accord heard about this super soldier on Earth in the 20th century America called Al Simmons. So they somehow went through space and time and drafted him to fight in their intergalactic war, provided him with a super cool uh, suit of high-tech space armor and a lot of high-tech weapons. And yeah, that's basically why Al Simmons is there in the Total Chaos toy line. Like I said, not much of a story, but it's a really good looking action figure. He's big, he's bulky. The space armor looks really, really cool. And honestly, for me, this Al Simmons look more like the badass super soldier that he's supposed to be, rather than that scrawny version from the movie. The visor of the space helmet can be lifted up, and you can see Al Simmons' face underneath. Now, what's interesting about this particular action figure is there were so many different variations out there. I have no idea what color mine is. There's like three different gray version, gray with a little bit darker wash, and gray with an even darker wash. And there's a blue version. I think there was like a gold or silver version, and a whole bunch of different versions of these guys were made. It's like Todd McFarlane couldn't make up his mind how he want to paint this guy. So it's a little bit frustrating for people who want to find a particular color. Now, me being blind, I guess I'm lucky there. I don't really care. Um, he is covered in a lot of details. You can see his musculature through his space armor, and he got a tube running over his shoulder. I guess that's like for oxygen. I don't know what that is. And the very high-tech helmet. In his biography, it said that his helmet has laser guiding system to help him aim his weapons. That's pretty cool. On his arms, his shoulders, his uh, legs. He's also sporting some very blocky, futuristic looking armor pieces. On his back, he has a kind of a backpack thing that later we'll put something in there. It's actually there for a function. And on his left arm, there's a mounted flamethrower, which we can attach another piece to later as well. This, if there's one thing about this figure, he comes with a lot of accessories. That is pretty cool. However, if the movie Al Simon is not very well articulated, this one is even worse. This one, there's no elbow articulation, which means his arms are stuck in a straight pose. His legs can hardly move, and so you can't really do much with this guy. He's just going to just stand there in his space armor looking intimidating. But he does that pretty well. The whole figure actually kind of remind me a little bit of the kind of space marine outfit that you see in Warhammer 40K or in Halo, in those properties. Kind of like a more, I don't know, like body fitting, form fitting version of those space armor. Now let's look at his accessories because that is where this particular action figure really shines. First, he comes with a flame effect that you can plug into the flamethrower mounted on one arm, and then a missile that you can load into the missile launcher in his other arm. There's also a spare missile that sits in his backpack. Like I said, that backpack is actually there for a purpose. There's also a little combat knife that can be holstered or sheathed on his right leg. The knife can also be held in his hand. You can choose to have him hold it upright or commando style like I have it here. Last but not least, he comes with this ridiculously huge machine gun that is almost half the size of his body, and that can fit in his left hand. So let's do a final tally on how much weapon this guy's carrying. Got a machine gun for his left hand, a knife for his right hand, a flamethrower on his right arm, a missile launcher on his left arm, and there are grenades all over his body as well. Yeah, I think he's doing pretty good in the weapons department. In addition to being one of the more badass characters created for comic book, L. Simmons was arguably also one of the earlier example of a very likable, very powerful black or African American superhero or anti-hero, however you want to look at it. Well, that's it for today, folks. Thank you for putting up with me with my little bit of a technological malfunction. And I hope you guys like today's video. And I wish you all, if you are in Canada, happy Remembrance Day. If you are from the US, happy Veterans Day. Respect.